In this video, we're breaking down the moment Gene Deal appeared to realize he may have gone too far, why some believe his safety could now be at risk, and what is currently being said about Diddy's situation behind bars. This isn't just another theory-filled discussion about Tupac and Biggie. Those conversations have existed for decades. This is different. Gene Deal was not a fan, a blogger, or a commentator watching from the outside. He was Diddy's bodyguard during the 1990s. He was physically present during key moments. He witnessed behavior that never made it into police reports, and conversations the public was never meant to hear. According to Gene, some of what he knows was only visible to people inside that inner circle. And after years of silence, he's now speaking publicly. Before getting into his most serious claims, context matters. In the early 1990s, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls were not rivals. They were friends. They respected each other, supported each other, and moved in overlapping circles. That relationship collapsed after the 1994 Quad Studio shooting in New York, when Tupac was robbed and shot multiple times inside a Manhattan recording studio. He survived, but the trust was gone. By 1996, the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry had escalated beyond music. Artists were choosing sides, diss tracks were fueling anger, and the atmosphere around hip-hop had become tense and dangerous. That tension exploded on September 7, 1996, when Tupac was shot in Las Vegas after leaving a Mike Tyson boxing match. He survived initially, but died 6 days later, at just 25 years old. 6 months later, on March 9, 1997, Biggie Smalls was shot in Los Angeles after leaving a party. He was 24. Unlike Tupac, Biggie did not survive. Two of the biggest artists in the world were gone within half a year. Both cases went cold. No arrests, no convictions, just unanswered questions. Gene believes those questions were never random. According to Gene, one key factor people underestimated was Diddy's personal feelings toward Tupac. He claims it wasn't just business competition. He describes it as jealousy. Tupac, Gene says, had something that couldn't be bought, a natural presence. When Tupac entered a room, attention followed. Women gravitated toward him effortlessly. His confidence felt organic. Diddy, on the other hand, had money, influence, and power, but Gene claims he lacked that same natural charisma. According to him, that difference created resentment. He says it showed in Diddy's demeanor whenever Tupac was around, and that resentment grew over time. Gene suggests this jealousy may have influenced later decisions. Then Gene points back to the Quad Studio shooting. He alleges that Diddy was present in the building that night. More seriously, he claims Diddy was aware ahead of time that Tupac was about to be attacked and chose not to warn him. According to Gene, conversations happened openly, and the threat was clear, yet no attempt was made to intervene, no warning, no effort to stop it. Gene emphasizes that he does not present this as proven fact, but he describes that silence as deeply disturbing. Knowing someone is about to be harmed and choosing to do nothing raises serious questions. The story then moves to Las Vegas in 1996. According to Gene and others, including former Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burroughs, Diddy's resentment toward Tupac had intensified. Tupac was dominating the culture following the release of All Eyez on Me. Kirk later alleged that Diddy played a role in what happened to Tupac, suggesting money and logistics were involved. Gene references claims about large sums of money changing hands, including a $1 million check he says he personally saw. Gene's position is simple: follow the money. He believes tracing that paper trail would lead somewhere uncomfortable. Then comes the night Biggie was killed. Gene Deal was there. He says Diddy's behavior in the days leading up to the shooting was unusual, restless, paranoid, constantly scanning the environment. On the night of the party, Gene attempted to position himself to protect Biggie. According to Gene, Diddy stopped him and ordered him into a different vehicle, threatening his career if he refused. That moment, Gene says, changed everything. Instead of leaving immediately, which Gene says was Diddy's usual behavior, Diddy stalled. He paced, he talked, he delayed. According to Gene, it felt like waiting for something. When the cars finally moved, Biggie's vehicle ended up in a position Gene believes was perfectly set up for what followed. After the shooting, Gene attempted to chase the shooter, but claims his car was mysteriously unable to exceed a certain speed. He describes it as if the vehicle was deliberately limited. Whether coincidence or not, the shooter escaped. Years later, Gene says he learned something that made the story personal. He claims that he discovered that Diddy allegedly wanted him dead as well. The reason, Gene believes, was simple. He knew too much. In his view, loyalty became a liability. Gene frames Diddy as someone driven by control. According to him, Biggie was becoming independent, starting his own ventures, and no longer fully dependent on Bad Boy Records. In Gene's telling, once control was lost, Biggie became a problem. After Biggie's death, Diddy retained control of the catalog and his career expanded. Gene points to that outcome as something people avoid discussing. At this point, the story stops being just about Tupac and Biggie. It becomes about power, silence, and who benefits when others disappear. Do Gene Deal's claims prove anything legally? No, but do they raise questions that refuse to go away? Absolutely. That's for the public to decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments.